Hello, everyone, and welcome to our broadcast about being undeclared at Le Moyne. My name is Mary Shad, and I am the advisor for first-year student transition at Le Moyne College. So what I do is I work with all new first-year students. I help coordinate first-year student orientation. I also serve as an undeclared advisor to a cohort of undeclared students. And I also assist with academic support. And today I am joined by one of our fellow students.
Hi, my name is Claire Nikoski. I'm a senior at Le Moyne College. I'm a communications major now, and I came in undeclared.
All right, so what we were hoping to do today is kind of give you an opportunity to ask us questions. If there's anything you want to know about being undeclared, we can kind of share some information about undeclared as a major here at Le Moyne to start, and sort of Claire's experience as an undeclared student and how she came about choosing her major. But we're hoping there's a live chat feature so you guys can ask us questions, and we're hoping just to answer your questions. So if there's anything you want to know about being undeclared, what that experience is like, that's really what we're here for. But we can start off and talk a little bit about being undeclared. The best thing you should know, I think, about being undeclared is that it's okay to be undeclared. I can't tell you how many students I meet with that think they come in and they want to know, okay, I want to major in this, and then 2 months later, they completely change their minds. And that's okay. We like that. We want to help you. We're here to help you in academic advising and support, figure out your path and where you want to go in life. And being undeclared is a good start, and it's a good way to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through what it's like being undeclared as an accepted student at Le Moyne. So at Le Moyne, we have 2 parts for new student orientation. We have our summer welcome and our fall arrival. So summer welcome takes place in June, and that's a one-day event where you would come to campus and you would do a lot of your taking care of business. So for example, at summer welcome, you're going to meet with an advisor who specializes in working with undeclared students. You're going to learn more about potential majors at Le Moyne. You're going to discuss your potential fall schedule, and then with that, you're also going to learn about tools from career advising and development. So tools that can help you to figure out, okay, I'm undeclared, where do I see myself going? Do you remember anything about your summer welcome or meeting with your advisor?
Yeah, I do remember a little bit. You know, they assigned us to a certain counselor to help us through our journey. We met with them and talked a little bit about what our first year was going to be like, what to expect, what kinds of things they would be able to help us there for, you know, the resources that were available for us as undeclared students, and how our experience would be just the same as anybody else who came in, you know, with a declared major, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. So being undeclared, it's not a bad thing. Like I said, it really isn't. And the whole point of working with your advisor and all these steps that you'll take to figure out your major is to decide, okay, this is where I see myself in the future. This is where I see my job or my career. So we really work with you to do that. So it's not a scary thing. So at summer welcome, you're meeting with an advisor for the first time. You're learning a little bit about what it's like to be undeclared, but then at fall arrival, you're really moving into a more deeper experience, talking with your advisor about, okay, these are the courses that I want to take. This is what I see myself potentially doing. How can we figure out if this is the right path for me? So at fall arrival, that's where you're going to meet your assigned academic advisor. So at Le Moyne, advisors are assigned by major. So as an undeclared student, since it's not technically a major, you will need to declare a major before you graduate. You will be assigned an undeclared advisor. So that's someone like myself, other people, support staff in my office that work with students that are undeclared. So you'll also confirm your course schedule at that time. The good thing about being undeclared is Le Moyne has the core curriculum, and that allows you to take a lot of core courses in the beginning. I know Claire transferred in a lot of courses, but she also started when the new course started here at Le Moyne. So do you remember your first semester, what you took at all? Or
I do remember a little bit of what I took. Because I transferred in a good amount of credits, I had the flexibility to keep up with my core classes while exploring what I might want to study while here at Le Moyne. So I took a philosophy class because freshmen and other grades are required to take a certain amount of philosophy courses. I believe that I took an anthropology course because I'd always been interested in that. And that actually translated later into my anthropology minor that I declared because I enjoyed a lot of the classes I took.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried to keep up with my core classes really because you want to remember that even though you're undeclared and you have the ability to explore what you want to take, you still need to keep up with the classes that you're going to need to be required for graduation.
Yeah, so it gives you a good opportunity to take a wide array of subjects during your first semester, your second semester, to kind of see, okay, this is something that I'm interested in, or this is something that I'm actually good at, and I'm surprised by that. So that might be something that turns into a potential major down the road. Did you think, you said you were interested in anthropology. Was it really like a defining moment for you when you took that?
Yeah, I had thought about when I went to college, majoring in communications, which is now my major. But, you know, I wasn't really sure, is this the right thing for me? Am I going to want to stick with it? Should I declare it? What happens if I go in and I change my mind? So I decided to go in undeclared, and I'd also generally had an interest in different cultures and anthropology, and I really wanted to see what that was like because I hadn't really had the chance in high school to take anything like that. So I took an anthropology course. I decided to stick with it, and I actually decided that would be my minor before I figured out what my major would be. So it was definitely great to be able to have that flexibility to figure out what I wanted to do and take classes that interested me.
Great. So going back to fall arrival, so you're meeting with your advisor, you are confirming your fall class schedule. You're also going to be talking about your advising colloquia. So that is something that Le Moyne does. Every first year student takes an advising course their first semester at Le Moyne. So your advising colloquia, or ADV, would be ADV undeclared. So that is a course, it's a non-credited course where you are going to be meeting with an advisor, and there will be about 4 to 6 sessions where you will go in as a group, as a cohort. So you will have other undeclared students in your cohort, and you will be going over resources, things such as ONET, which is an online portal where you can do job searches, you can learn about majors. So be going over that, you'll learn maybe how to formulate a resume. You'll have guest speakers that come in and talk to you about different majors, but it's really more of an exploratory course for undeclared students. Like I said, every student does have an ADV, but undeclared, in that time, we really focus on, okay, how are we going to help you figure out what your major is and what your path is? There's a lot of major discernment and career discernment that takes place during ADV. So that's something that you would be taking first semester, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But the other thing you're going to be doing at fall arrival is getting to know those classmates that are going to be in ADV and really starting to form connections with them. So going off of that, do you remember your first year advising class?
I do, actually. I was very lucky to go into my advising class, and the first day I had this girl sit next to me and just introduce herself, and I was like, oh, so, you know, we were talking about, you know, what brought us to Le Moyne and what we were interested in, why we were there. She was actually trying to get into the nursing program, so she had a little better idea of what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
But she's actually still one of my best friends here at Le Moyne, and she was probably the first person I met there. So it gives you a chance to really meet people, connect with people who are in the same boat as you are. And I think a lot of times when people are considering going in undeclared or don't know, you know, what that will entail, I think the worry is, well, I'm not part of a major program of study, so I'm not going to be able to meet people. I'm not going to have the normal college experience. But it's really not that at all. You can connect with people and meet people just as well, and it actually gives you, I would say, a wider range of connections with people because, you know, the people in your advising seminar, you never know what their interests are going to be or what they're looking for in their college. So yeah, it really is a great opportunity.
I think that's a great point in that being undeclared, it gives you a lot of advantages because if you're interested in anthropology, you might talk to a professor in the social sciences, or you might take Anthropology 101 and get sort of a taste of what that's like. So it really, as undeclared advisors, we really encourage you to reach out to other students, other faculty members, other staff members, to really say, okay, this is what I'm thinking, how do I get here? Or let me bounce some ideas off of you about my major or where I see myself. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about the advising colloquia, but before I do that, I just want to remind you guys, use the live chat. We're here to answer your questions. So if you have any questions about being undeclared at Le Moyne, feel free to send us them and we can see that and we will be happy to address them.
Definitely.
All right, moving forward a little bit. So this ADV class that I'm talking about, like I said, it's a non-credited course that focuses on 2 things, self-awareness and planning. So with self-awareness, we really focus on undeclared students and helping you to realize your values and your interests. that is super important because when you're thinking long-term about a career, you want to be in a field and a major that will get you into a career where it's something you're passionate about. So that's one of the most important things, I think. Your interests, your personality, your values, all of that comes into play when you're picking a major. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you ended up in communications?
Yeah, so like I had said earlier, but for those who may have tuned in recently, I had thought about declaring communications when I came to college. I knew that I enjoyed writing and journalism, and I was passionate about connecting with people and communicating with people and networking with people. And so it seemed to be a good fit and something I could be good at.
Yeah.
But I just, I think I had that worry that everybody has that, well, am I going to like it? What am I going to do with my life? Where do I go from here?
Yeah.
So I decided to come in undeclared. And I ended up declaring my sophomore year. I believe you have to declare by the end of your sophomore year. Is that correct?
Yeah, ideally you will have declared at the end of sophomore year.
Yeah, so I declared during my sophomore year that I was actually going to go with communications. And I think it just ended up being the right fit with me because I got the chance to experience communications classes at Le Moyne and see exactly what that would entail. Le Moyne's communication department has some great faculty and great students. They try to support you in any way possible and give you a lot of hands-on experience, which is something I liked. You're not always just sitting in the classroom. You can be in the Mac lab on computers learning Photoshop software and all that stuff. And that was valuable to me because I got a real taste for where this major could take me and what I could do with it. It wasn't just theoretical to me anymore. I had an idea of what it could do for me, and I ended up enjoying it as much as I thought I would.
That's great. So a lot of that comes from discovering your strengths, discovering what you're good at. So in that self-awareness stage, we're looking at your academic strengths, but we're also helping you to identify resources that are available to you if you face challenges. Because, well, it's great to be undeclared. It also can be extremely difficult narrowing it down. So you come in and you're undeclared and you can say, oh, we have over 30 majors here. So you're trying to narrow that down, and that can be overwhelming. So we want to identify resources, not only other staff members, but online resources, assessments that you can use to really gain a greater understanding of your interests and where those could potentially take you major-wise. And it's also more about discernment. So the Ignatian principle of discernment is something that we practice where we're really focusing on helping you to figure out where you want to be and who you want to be. So as an undeclared student, it is extremely valuable to work with your advisor and throughout your ADV class to really learn to understand more about yourself. And that's really what we're discerning as we're going through the process of figuring out you and what is good for you, what doesn't work for you, and where you're going to end up. So that's the self-awareness side. On the other side, there's planning. So that's where we're narrowing your majors down based on interests. We're also talking about minors and concentrations. So Claire has an anthropology minor. She's a communications major. So there's lots of options for you to say, okay, this is something that I'm interested in. Maybe not a major, but I could tack it on as a minor. And we definitely encourage students to do that. If it's something you're interested in and passionate about, and you're able to fit that into your course schedule, absolutely. We also have some double majors that you can do. You can always add a minor, and a lot of our majors also have concentrations that you can select from. In addition to that, we're planning for future coursework. So we're looking at, okay, this is what you're taking your first semester, your first year in the fall, but what are you going to be taking next year? Where is this going to take you? Because we want you to stay on track in order to graduate. And we're also going to research career opportunities. So at that planning phase, it's a lot of research because you need to know, okay, I can major in philosophy, but what does someone do that majors in philosophy? What does that set you up for? Or where do you see yourself going? Do you think that your communications class has helped you figure out your career goals?
Yeah, definitely. I think I found out what I was good at, and I also found out what I enjoyed that I thought I wouldn't enjoy.
Yeah.
I think that when I thought about going into communications, I'd always pictured myself as like a journalism concentration. The communications program at Le Moyne no longer has concentrations because they want you to be fully capable to handle all kinds of communication situations and be able to work in a variety of fields within communications, which I think is very valuable. But I figured out that though I had never thought of graphic design as something I would want to do, I found that I've really enjoyed working with that software and the creative side and the creative opportunities it gave to me. So I think it was definitely a big help actually taking some classes before deciding what I wanted to do, for sure.
Yeah. Is that what you want to do, graphic design? Is that sort of your end goal?
I'm not entirely sure. I think, like I said, the communications department is great because I've gotten all of these experiences in a lot of different fields.
Absolutely.
So it makes it a little hard to narrow down for me personally, just because I find so much of it so interesting.
Yeah.
But I definitely would love to find some kind of career that incorporates both writing, because I enjoy that, and some kind of creative side. So for me, this would most likely mean some kind of social media option or online publication. So gives you a lot of options.
Yeah. So another component, and the final component I'll talk about in regards to ADV, so your first year advising course for undeclared students, is My College Plan. So what My College Plan is, it's a living document that's really going to help you discern your personal values, your career and academic interests, and your abilities. So I saw we had a question come in, so I'm just going to finish talking about this super quick, and then we will be right there, Deanna. But thank you for your question, though. If anyone else has questions, feel free to give them right to us. Okay, so quickly, My College Plan. So that is where you're focusing on 5 different areas. So you are looking at personal reflection, you're looking at your values, you're looking at your coursework, and another area is education outside of the classroom. So that is important because you can do study abroad opportunities, you can do service learning opportunities. So much of college is going to class and the academics, but there's also education that you can receive outside of the classroom. And we really encourage that at Lemoyne and really want you to take part in that. And as an undeclared student too, I think that's very helpful in figuring out what you're passionate about or what interests you have and what you like. And then life beyond Lemoyne. So obviously you have a plan for after graduation, whether you're going to continue on and do graduate studies or you are going to go right into the workforce. So you have lots of options there. So My College Plan, like I said, is a living document. This is going to change over time. You have the opportunity to go back and review it, work with your advisor to fill it out, but it is a really good option for you to utilize during your first year advising course. So I'm going to take a look at our question here. So Deanna says, you mentioned having a concentration in a major. How do majors with concentrations differ from basic majors? So for example, I will pick biology. So if you are a biology major, there are different concentrations you can have within a biology major. So typically that might be a few sets of courses that differ based on the concentration. So for example, one biology concentration is health professions. So that program is tailored a little differently because health professions, it's sort of gearing you towards graduate work. A lot of times health professions, you need an upper level degree. So you would need to go on to get your master's or your doctorate. So there's a few courses that a regular plain biology major might not take, but a health professions concentration would take. So it's different from a basic major in that it's a little bit more tailored. Another thing is business. So we do have a general business administration major, but then you're picking your concentration of finance or marketing or analytics. So business in and of itself, there's a core for business, but then analytics students are going to take courses that differ from finance students. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't, Deanna, but basically the best way I can say it is that it's an umbrella, your major, and not all majors have concentrations. Bio is a good example, business is a good example. But it's a big umbrella as your major, and then you're narrowing it down a teeny bit when you're focusing on a concentration.
Yeah. I think it helps if you have kind of a specific interest in something within the field. So for example, if you were a sociology major and you really enjoyed anthropology like me, you could declare an anthropology concentration. So you're earning your bachelor's degree in sociology, but it's also tailored to your interest in anthropology and you get more experience within that field. So it gives you a little more individualized areas,
absolutely.
I guess.
Yes, I think it's really good too once you have figured out, okay, I do want to be a biology major and I am interested in one day being a doctor or being in the operating room. So you're knowing, okay, health professions is a better path for me to take. So I think that is the benefit of having a concentration. All right, one other thing I wanted to touch on about being an undeclared student is the option to join a learning community. So learning communities And you weren't in learning community, were you?
No, I was not. I was just in
Yeah,
a general one.
so it is a community really designed for students that is specific to a major. So for example, for undeclared, we have our choice learning community. So it is a learning community where you are housed in the same area. You are in a designated advising colloquia section. So that ADV that I mentioned earlier, you're in a section with the same group of students. You're also enrolled in a shared course. So that same group of students in your ADV is also going to be in your History 110 course. So, and you're also living right near them as well. So it's really a great opportunity for students to get to know one another on a deeper level, to have a strong cohort of people to go to, where you're in class with these students and you're seeing them on a more regular basis. There's also tutoring support involved with learning communities, and you're able to participate in learning community programs that the learning community coordinator puts on. So it might be going out to dinner once a month, or it might be going apple picking, or you might be doing some service projects. But learning communities are really a great way for students to get involved. And even if you end up declaring a major, there are learning communities. We have 9 learning communities that cover a bunch of different majors. But it is a good opportunity for undeclared students because it's called choice. Life is about choices, and we are helping you to make a choice in, okay, this is what my major's going to be, and you're going to get there. And it might not be within the first week, it might not be within the first semester, but we're going to work with you to get you there. Yeah. So that's all I got to cover on this. Do you have anything you want to add? Or?
No, I don't think so. I do think the learning communities are a great way to find a network of students.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it goes back to that worry again that we have, that undeclared students kind of won't fit in. We won't have a niche like a lot of the other communities or majors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely a good way to create that little support net to make Lemoyne your home away from home.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys have any questions for us, once again, I'm Mary Shad, and I work in advising. I also work with first year students, so I work a lot with orientation, so I'm here to help. Claire is also here, and we can definitely get in touch with her also. But really, I think the biggest takeaway is that it's okay to be undeclared, and there are lots of resources on campus. There's a lot of people that want to see you succeed, and we will do whatever we can to get you to that place. So thank you for joining us today, and have a great day. Bye. That's Iggy, our dolphin.
Good dolphins.